Welcome back to Get Down to Business. In today's rapidly changing world, the old rules of leadership and influence just don't cut it anymore. We need a new approach, one that emphasizes authenticity, service, and genuine connection. That's why I'm so excited to have Lida Citroën with us today. Lida is an award-winning branding and reputation management expert, executive coach, and author of the insightful new book, The New Rules of Influence: How to Authentically Build Trust, Drive Change, and Make an Impact. She's a sought-after speaker with a popular TEDx talk and multiple courses on LinkedIn Learning. Lida Citroën, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Shalom. I'm excited to have the conversation.
Absolutely. You've worked with a wide range of leaders, from CEOs to entrepreneurs to social activists. What are some of the common challenges you see them facing when it comes to influence and making an impact?
Well, and I would be remiss if I didn't first say thank you for your service, because the other thing about me is I do a lot of work with the military. And there's a lot of leadership lessons that we pull from the military. But I think what we're seeing is what you mentioned in your intro, that things have changed, right? That the old ways of doing things, where you just had to show up a certain way, you had to script your messages and sort of craft an image that would make you ascend the leadership ladder. It just isn't the way the world is working. And that's actually the really good news, that there's so much more potential for people who don't fit that model, who don't prescribe to the conventional, to have a really good idea take root, because that's what's going to make the world better.
Amazing. And what inspired you to write The New Rules of Influence? What makes your approach different from traditional ideas about leadership and presence?
Well, and again, I'm not trying to say that there isn't a need for some people to follow the model of executive presence that has been around, since I was coming up in my career. But I felt a gap in the market. The clients I was working with across all industries and in over 30 countries were saying, I don't want to be that person on the poster, or the person that, conventional norms are telling me I need to be. And at the same time, they were saying, when do I get to offer an idea? When can I speak up and say something I think is important and valuable, but I don't have the job title or the rank or the position yet to be able to assert myself? And my question was always, where is that written? Where is that rule? And realized there really isn't. So I just tried to create a new set of rules for someone wherever they are and whatever station they are in their career, who wants to have their voice matter and heard. That doesn't involve just being louder or more vocal than the person next to them. Influence is nuanced. It's built on credibility and courage and inclusivity and service. It's very different than just being the loudest voice in the room. There are a lot of people that are missing out, and we're missing out because we're not hearing from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your book, you provide real world examples of people who have successfully applied the new rules. Can you share a particularly inspiring story that illustrates the power of this approach?
Well, the approach really talks about, making sure that we're listening to people who might be in the back of the room. So in the conventional way, the person at the front of the room is the person who had the authority or the positional power to be able to offer an idea, get it adopted, see it come to life. But there are so many examples, and I'm thinking of a recent client that I worked with that was not included in the book, who was deeply passionate about environmental concerns. He was an outdoor active, very active outdoors. He loved his life in the environment. He was very passionate about it and worked for a company that was a consumer product brand, produced a lot of plastic. And it always caused him a little disconnect that his love of the outdoors didn't really match up with what his company did, but he loved his employer. And he actually took the courage to raise his hand and say, I think there are ways we can look at our process and our products and how we create supply chain modifications that can be sensitive to the environmental needs, at the same time making a profit. And he was not in a position of leadership. He was not someone whose job title started with a C, but it was his passion and his unwavering commitment to something he loved that allowed him to really grow a career. And yes, today he does have a corner office with all the bells and whistles, but he didn't start off that way. He just worked in an environment that thought, here's somebody who's got something interesting to share, and maybe that's an idea worth unpacking. And it led to fabulous things.
Sounds like it. Well, thank you for sharing that. Again, I'm chatting with Lida Citroën, the author of The New Rules of Influence, How to Authentically Build Trust, Drive Change, and Make an Impact. And Lida, I want to end our conversation by perhaps asking if you can provide some practical advice for someone who may be struggling to find their voice or assert their influence. What's that one homework assignment you would leave our listeners with? And then on the theme of homework assignments, how can we get in touch with you and find your book?
Well, I'll give you a couple homework assignments. If you're the person that tends to sit in the back of the room, or you're the person that tends to wait until somebody calls on you before offering an idea or asking a question or challenging an assumption, take the courage to do it one time. Raise your hand one time and see what a difference that can make. Along the same lines, if you're going to a meeting or you're headed into an important conversation, think about ahead of time, what could you be prepared to offer? Come prepared to the conversation with an idea, a suggestion, a question. Preparation and a little bit of courage can start the influence ball rolling. On social media, I'm on just about every platform, and my website is Lida360, Lida360.com. The book's available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. So would love to hear from your listeners who've had a chance to read it and what they think.
Fantastic, Lida. Thank you so much. A quick break. We'll be right back.